church in Princeton. Anyone know what a curate is?
Yes.
What's a curate?
Second in command.
Oh, I wish. I'm the 75th in command. So nobody. But if you want to write a letter to my rector and tell him, please go ahead. A curate is sort of like a medical resident, but for the church. So we graduated seminary and we're ordained, but I'm still learning a lot. So together, being the seminary, we're going to figure this out, all right? I'm also a Franciscan friar. Anyone know St. Francis of Assisi?
Yes.
All right, what is St. Francis known for?
Animals.
Animals, what else? Love of nature. And that's all true, but his first encounter to God, the moment when he really thought, oh, maybe this God thing, maybe I can be a follower, was when he met a leper on the road. And he got off of his horse and he embraced the leper. He realized that society said, stay away. Society said, this is bad news. But Jesus taught him something different. Taught him a different truth. That in the leper, in the forgotten and the excluded, there you will find me. I must admit that in today's second reading from Corinthians, I really did not want to read it. So much so that I read through these scriptures many times, trying to think, now what am I going to bring to the good people at St. Alban's? And my mind just skipped over. I would read the first two lines of 2 Corinthians, and I thought, that's crazy. Paul's being nuts. On to the gospel. And so I was sitting down the steps this morning, and I started reading. I thought, oh, Lord, this is actually pretty good. I just don't want to deal with the truth of what Paul is telling us. And so I had to amend things a little bit, because I realized, I don't know about you, but I have some of those thorns. Some of those things and ideas that torment me at 3 o'clock in the morning. Some of the things when I'm driving down Route 1, maybe not being the best Christian when someone cuts me off. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. And I had to turn the radio on because the tapes start playing in my head, telling me the ways that I'm not a child of God. And I think what God is telling us is, I'm with you. I'm not going to take it all away. I'm not going to zap it and with some magical wand take away the things that plague your mind. But amidst those moments, I am with you. And watch what I do through them. Watch how I transform you to hear the heartbeat of the broken and the excluded and the ignored. I don't know about you, but I don't like touching lepers. Or today's modern day lepers. And in different communities, they take on different forms. But currently in our country, we have somehow decided that immigrants should be kept over there. It's not what Jesus says. It's not what God says. But somehow we have the fabric of our nation has started coming undone. And this nation has determined that some people are included and some people are excluded. Those who are imprisoned. Those who are hungry and homeless. I don't want to know their names. I don't want to touch them because it's hard, it's painful. I wear this brown robe, I wear these clothes that signify that I stand with the lepers of our day, and still I cross the street when I see one coming. Ooh, don't want to handle that. Nope. Nope, gotta go. How far I have to go until I reach home. Because what's really happening in those moments is, well, I don't want to disappoint them. I'm afraid that their poverty and their need will touch my own need. That I will realize that what What ails them is what ails me. I will realize that I am no better than them. Sure, I have a car that gets me to and fro. I'm the curate at Trinity Church of Princeton. I have a nice apartment in Princeton, but tomorrow it could all fall away. And I am no different than the person that I cross the street to avoid. Today's gospel tells us that there are prophets among us. But there's this tendency to avoid the truth-telling, to avoid the one who points out that that's where we belong, with the broken heart being ignored. My question today is, what if the prophets are hiding in the disguise of a homeless person? What if the prophet is actually the person in line in the soup kitchen? Or at the Middlesex County Jail, hiding in solitary confinement? What if they are someone at the Elizabeth Detention Center, the Immigration Detention Center here in New Jersey, one of them? I used to work for the National Religious Campaign Against Torture, and we worked to end solitary confinement in New Jersey prisons. And as part of that, I would go and visit different prisons. And so I was allowed into the Middlesex County Jail, where they have a solitary confinement unit. Now, they will tell you they do not have a solitary confinement unit, but I was there, and I assure you it exists. And there was a guy from our church. I used to attend a church at Highland Park. And there was a guy from our church, and he was there in solitary confinement, and the warden was taking us along and giving us a tour. And I said, "Do you mind if we just stop and say a prayer?" And he looked a little surprised. I guess he didn't get that question very often. But when you wear this, you kind of, you should have seen it coming, bro. And so we put our hands up against this thick steel door, and he put his hand against mine. And there we prayed for God's Spirit to flow through us. Solitary confinement still exists in New Jersey. We're working on it. But it wasn't so much whether we won the victory, but that that man knew he was not alone. That we know, amidst our brokenness and our grief, the things which keep us awake at 3 o'clock in the morning, those things which stir up in our minds when we're driving down Route 1, God is with us in those moments. Sometimes in Scripture, or when we read about the saints, we read these stories of lore and grandeur and mysticism, and we think, well, that's ridiculous. That's just some story we've made up. But what if it's true? What if saints really have walked through walls? What if people really have ascended to the heavens and come back? What if miracles do happen? There are so many people in this land who are looking for a miracle. And I know that I am not the miracle worker. Jesus is the one. Jesus is the way and the truth and the life. Do we dare to get close to him? Do we dare to lay our hearts down at his feet and say, "You are my Lord. This life is for you"? Do we dare to wake up 30 minutes earlier and spend silent prayer with him? To read the scriptures and to say, "What do you want me to do for you?" Spoiler alert. My guess is it's going to lead us to the brokenhearted, to the excluded, and to the forgotten ones. And there, we might just find the prophet that we seek. May it be so. Amen.